What's good, YouTube? It's your boy Jordxn. In today's video, I'm going to be talking about the things I wish I knew before I started making music. It's going to be a little bit different from the other videos I make, but you know, it's some things that I wish I would have knew before I started getting into music. So I'm going to share it with you. Want to share any of your experiences? Put them in the comment section below. The first thing that I wish I would have knew before I even started getting into making music is the investment. And the investment goes into a lot of various topics like time. I did not know it was gonna take so much time that I was gonna have to put in to learn, practice, get better, you know what I'm saying, fail, try again and try again and try again and try again, get better at recording, get better at mixing, understanding, you know what I'm saying. Like, it's an investment, like in the time, the knowledge, the effort, all of that. Like, it's an investment, especially money. Like making music is not a cheap thing. If you go about making music the cheapest way possible, you're gonna get the cheapest results possible. Some people will. Some people will make it through though. Some people will make it through. Some people can go buy a $40 microphone, record a bunch of songs and market themselves well and be good to go. But it's like, it's an investment. Making music is an investment. So if you are ready to invest in yourself and in your music career in far as money, time, effort, knowledge, this is for you. If you're not willing to invest all of those things, find somebody that can invest the money or the knowledge in you, whatever. But you gonna have to invest something. The second thing I wish I would have knew before I started making music is microphones do matter. They matter. I used to just think everybody recorded with one microphone. You know what I'm saying? This was years ago, man. Years ago. It's I didn't really have people around me that really just knew music. You know what I'm saying? I just know people had a microphone. I didn't know it was hundreds and hundreds of different types of microphones. You know what I'm saying? Because it's everybody I grew up around with, we was all athletes. You know what I'm saying? We was always playing sports, basketball, baseball. Them are the sports I played the most growing up, for real. You know what I'm saying? Baseball, basketball, all the time. So it's I was, you know what I'm saying, I loved music, but it's I was addicted to sports at the time. So it's I didn't really know. So it's and what I know now is microphones matter. You know what I'm saying? You can use a $125 microphone and you can use a $1,000 microphone. Sometimes, depending on the person, the interface, a lot of stuff goes into play. It's the cheaper microphone might sound better than the more expensive microphone, just depending on the situation, the person's, the tone of the person, the room, everything. It's microphones matter. Some microphones are brighter than others, some more balanced, some are more low end driven. It matters. So it's I'm gonna just tell you now, if you just watch one video of somebody using a microphone and that's how you make your decision, cool. But if you can, this is what I want you to do. Go find somebody that has a similar voice to yours. You know, go to a studio, go to Guitar Center, try out the microphones, try them out. You have to try things first. Don't just go buy it because you see it in a YouTube video. This is the Slate mic. You know what I'm saying? It's cool. You know what I'm saying? It might sound good on me, but it's it might sound bad for other people. But it's you know what I'm saying? So it's you got to figure out what works for you. That's all I'm gonna say. It's a lot of different microphones. Before you buy, go do a lot of research. You know, go to a store that sells the microphones, test them out, and see if it's a mic for you. You know, so I'm just sharing some tips, you know what I'm saying, save you some time, save you some money. And the third thing I wish I would have knew before I started making music was you can't use the same exact auto-tune settings that somebody used in a song. Alright, even if you did use those same settings, your voice isn't the same as theirs. You know, because I grew up, I was influenced by Wayne. You know, T-Pain brought the auto-tune, and then Wayne got a hold of the auto-tune and went crazy. So it's auto-tune inspired me, so I love auto-tune type music. You know what I'm saying? That shows by the channel. You know what I'm saying? Because I love like, you know what I'm saying, I love Lil Wayne music, you know what I'm saying. T-Pain was hard when he first came out, so it's like that's the vibe for me. And it's like a lot of people don't really know, like, you can't use the same exact sentence because it depends on people singing, on how well you can sing. Can you stay in key even with the tune? Because people be fighting against the tune and they just mess the tune up and it just sounds ugly. You know what I'm saying? You want to have pretty auto tune, you know. So it's like something that I didn't know, like I didn't even know what it really was. And then like I got a hold to like the early YouTube days where everybody was just saying like, yo, you get the Autotune plugin and you put it in C sharp minor. That's what T-Pain uses for every song, C sharp minor. And I'm like, oh, he uses it for every song. See, I didn't even know at the time that it mattered on the key and the scale. Like I didn't know. I was just going off the fact that people were saying C sharp minor. But now it's like I learned music theory to an extent and I learned auto-tune to the fullest. So it's like now I know. So I'm just sharing it with you because it's like it's okay if you don't know how to use auto-tune because you can learn. Like look at me. I use it all the time. People, some might say I talk with it on all the time, which I don't, you know what I'm saying? I just sound like this. And the fourth thing I wish I would have knew before I started making music is how important acoustic treatment is. That is very important because if it was not important, why do studios have their rooms acoustically treated and just treated properly? Like you can have it treated, but if it's not treated properly, it's gonna be a problem. Like honestly, music at home in an untreated room sounds completely different than music at home in a treated room. It's gonna be a big difference between the two. All right, just like if you go from a home studio being treated to a professional studio being treated, unless the person with the home studio that's treated got the same budget as the person at the studio, it'll be the same. But like the studios are different. Music sounds different in studios because it's treated correctly. Your home is not treated correctly. So it's like acoustic treatment is very important. So that's what I wish I would have knew before I started making music. But it's ways around it because you can improve the quality of the room that you record in, you mix in. You can improve that. It's ways you can go online, you know, weighted blankets in the corners. You can put acoustic panels on the wall, but they gotta be placed a certain way. You can use like chaotic eyeballs, iconic Mars comments, the isovox stuff, you know, like all kind of stuff, the halos, whatever. Like, yeah, any type of acoustic treatment, just make sure it's correct. You know, it's very important. Like I wouldn't suggest recording in a bad room. So make sure you record in the best room possible. And another thing I wish I would have known before I started making music is how hard it is to stay consistent and get better each time, or get better over time. Basically be consistent. I never knew how hard that was gonna be. You know what I'm saying? Like I ain't know, man. It's not easy making music. You know, it's not easy making music. It's not, because I can compare making music to making YouTube videos and just creating content. Like it's not easy. Like this is not easy. I know you, the rapper, it's not easy. Like you probably sit there and like, yo, I gotta do this project, and then it's like I gotta go take a break and come back and do this project. It's hard, man. It's hard to stay motivated, especially like when you put music out and you don't get no plays, no views, no nothing. Just like when making videos, like if you put a video out and you don't get no views, you're like, man, it's kind of hard to stay motivated to drop more videos. Or if you're streaming and you don't get no viewers, and it's kind of hard for you to keep streaming if you don't get no viewers. Like you have to be consistent though. You got to work through it because it's always gonna be highs and lows. You know what I'm saying? But it's never, you don't never want to just stay flat. Like if you drop, you might drop from here to here, but you didn't fall all the way off. Like even if you fall down, you can go back up, man. This is life, man. Like it's always ups and downs, you know. It's up to you on how you want to do it though, you know. So you have to stay consistent. If you're wondering, like it's hard. Like it's very hard to stay consistent, but I have made creating content a part of my life. This is my life. Like this is my life. I'm trying to become a full-time content creator. Like this, like I love helping y'all. You know what I'm saying? I love helping new artists, rappers, engineers. I love helping new artists, engineers, producers, songwriters. I just love making content that helps people, you know what I'm saying? So it's like I'm trying my best to be consistent, you know, because I want you to be consistent. I want to show you that it's possible for you to be consistent and win and put out quality content time after time after time after time. Whether it's videos, songs, streaming, whatever it is you're doing, beats, mixes, you can be consistent. And another thing I wish I would have knew before I started making music is how important networking is. That is very important. Very, 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 very important. Because the more people you know, the more chances you get to win. You know, you might network with a manager of this artist and the manager of this artist and the manager of this artist, or XYZ, whoever, you know what I'm saying? And you might develop a relationship with the manager, and the manager starts to bring you around, wants you to come around, wants you to be around, you know, and you get seen by whatever artist or their label or whatever. You might get a chance that way. Like, you might get a job this way, you might be able to get a feature this way, you might be able to get free studio time or just deals on studio time by befriending people, becoming friends with people, if somebody don't know what befriend means, but like, or just networking, you know what I'm saying? This is very important. Like, it pays to know people that know people that know people, you know? Like, if a person can vouch for you that has valid credibility, you know what I'm saying? Like, that does more. That makes stuff easier for you, you know what I'm saying? Like, you want people around, you want to have contacts, man. Networking is very important. Like, if you're not using social media the correct way, I advise you to network. And don't just network just for the sake of networking. Network with a purpose. You want to network with people that fits your plan. Like, it might sound crazy and like a kind of like the gray area of morals, but it's like, people are friends with people for reasons. Like, you don't just pick your friends just because it's like, hey, this person over there, you're my friend. Sometimes it might happen like that, but it's like, you don't pick the person that's just a random person. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you pick people for whatever reason, you pick people to be your friends, and that's cool. But it's like, networking is important. You ain't gotta be friends with people to be like business partners or have a business working relationship, you know what I'm saying? But just learn how to network. That's something that I wish I would have knew like 8 years ago. And another thing I wish I would have knew before I started making music is how important it is for people to like you. All right, listen to me well. If people don't like you, they can keep you from progressing. All right, understand that. If people don't like you, they can make it very hard for you. Example, 6ix9ine. People don't like him. He don't make it to playlists that people need to be on. He doesn't get the radio interviews. He don't get the media interviews and stuff like that are like in the culture. You know what I'm saying? Like, when people like you, they will try their best to make sure you win or keep some money in your pocket or have some type of success. People have to like you. This goes back to networking though, because if somebody don't really like you, or they can't get no money with you, they not really gonna do business with you or work with you. But if people like you, you can be the worst engineer in the world, but if you're a good person and people like you, if the studio owner loves you, if all the engineers, the staff at the studio love you, they're gonna keep you around. If the clients that come to you really love you, you can be the worst engineer in the world. But if people like you, man, they'll deal with it. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's crazy. You know what I'm saying? Like, people have to like you. Like, that's crazy. Like, even when it comes to having fans, subscribers, followers, people have to like you. If people don't like you, they will never become a fan. They will never become a customer. You don't go do business with people you don't like. You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't do that. So, yeah, understand that. Understand that. Because if I would have understood, it was more so about who you know and how well they like you, man, it makes networking and learning how to move around people a lot better. So I want you to move around people way better, easier. Just analyze, man. Just analyze yourself. See if people like you. Like, how many friends do you got? How often do people hit you up and all this other stuff? It's like, and another thing I wish I would have knew before I started making music is that I should have took more risk. Should have took more risk. I can't talk, right? He doesn't accent all the other shit, can't really talk, right? But listen, you wanna take more risk, man. Like, I shoulda, soon as I turned 21, bruh, like years ago, I shoulda just moved to Atlanta a long time ago. Like, I shoulda just went to Atlanta, or I shoulda went to Cali. I shoulda just went to a music place. Like, you know what I'm saying? I shoulda just did that earlier, because I feel like if I would have did that earlier, you know what I'm saying, I could have been in the industry like way faster. You know what I'm saying? I would have, you know what I'm saying? I just felt like I would have been in a different space than I am now. But it's like life works out in crazy ways, because I came to Atlanta on like a risk, man. Like, I didn't have nothing when I came here. You know what I'm saying? And it worked out, and it's working out right now. You know what I'm saying? I'm just taking a risk with the YouTube stuff too. You know what I'm saying? Like, you want to take risks, because if you don't take risks, like, you know what I'm saying, like, it's no really reward there. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like, the higher the risk, the higher the reward, man. Like, you don't want to just sit here and take little cheap, little small risk here and there. But it's like, I'm not saying go do nothing illegal. You know what I'm saying? I'm just talking about, like, with your music career, it's like, you want to take more risk. You know what I'm saying? Reach out to the person that you think that would never work with you. That person might be a fan of you. They might just be watching your movement, seeing what you're doing. You know, they might show some love back to you. They might do the collab. But it's like, if you never take the chance to try to get the feature or to build a relationship network with that person, you know, you miss that opportunity. You know what I'm saying? Like, you want to be able to take risks. Don't take the ones that don't make sense. You want to take risks that make sense, if that makes sense, you know. And the last thing I wish I would have known before I started making music is that I should be listening to understand versus listening to respond. All right, this is probably gonna go over a lot of people's heads, but a lot of people only listen in conversation just so they can return back an answer. They don't care what it is that you're saying. They're not hearing what you're saying. They can hear it, you know what I'm saying, because they're responding back to it, but they don't understand, you know. This is a problem with a lot of young artists, a lot of young engineers, is because they think it's a secret code to mixing. You know, they think it's a secret code to making songs. They think it's a secret code that you gotta crack, and that people not really trying to let you in. But it's like, it's not. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not. Like, a lot of people, they only listen because if you could tell somebody, it's like, oh, you really just need to EQ this and do this and do this and it'll work. But then somebody will turn around and be like, but I seen in this video you got to do this and this and this and this and that and this and this and that. But it's like, are you really listening to hear what I'm saying? Because it's like, I just gave you a simpler way to get it done versus the long way that you've seen somebody that's been doing music for like forever. Like, people, once people get set in their ways, man, they set in their ways. You know what I'm saying? It's like people get trapped in that one thought of mind thinking, one train of mind thinking. I think I said that wrong, but I think I corrected it. I don't know. But it's like, you want to be able to understand what people are saying, because every time somebody says something to you, it doesn't really need like a defensive or an aggressive response. You know what I'm saying? Like, you need to listen to people, especially like if you're younger, you don't really know people that have experience in the industry or just more experience than you. You want to listen to the people that have stuff going for themselves. You know what I'm saying? Like, and you want to listen to people that messed up along the way, because you can learn something from them people as well. So it's like, if you have access to a mentor in any type of fashion, like, use that to your advantage. You know what I'm saying? So like, if you know people that own professional studios, like a professional studio, they have a lot of clientele, they get label contracts and stuff like that, they've worked with industry artists and stuff, like, use that to your advantage, because they're not gonna tell you nothing wrong. You know what I'm saying? Like, your cousin that's been rapping for 5 years but has only dropped 10 songs, mixes sound horrible. Like, don't listen to that person to get better. You want to listen to this person and understand where they messed up. You know what I'm saying? Even though they're acting like they never messed up and it's just people hating on them, listen, understand where they went wrong so you don't make that same mistake. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people that fail and never progress in their music career, they think they know it all. You know what I'm saying? They think they know everything. They not open to new ideas, and they just don't understand. You know what I'm saying? Because mixing is not a cheat code. It's not a cheat code to mixing. It's not a cheat code to mastering. It's not a cheat code to writing. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's a lot of factors that go into play with this. You know, mixing is a bunch of techniques. You don't use the same techniques all the time. When I mix songs, I don't do the same thing every time. I really don't. It depends on the song I'm mixing. I have to mix the song how the song was sent. You know what I'm saying? I have to give the song what it needs, what it's missing, if I can provide what it's missing. You know what I'm saying? It's like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't do too much. I do what the song needs. You know what I'm saying? So like, it's stuff like that that matters. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's stuff like that that matters. And the best thing about listening to understand is that, like, when you're talking to a person that's older or got more experience, and that person can see that you're really understanding or trying to understand what they're saying, they'll bring you in, put you under their wing, and try to give you the resources and the tools to win. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's the reality of the situation. Like, people don't really understand that part, because people don't really try to understand where other people are coming from, or try to understand the points, because they feel like they know everything just from watching a video, reading an article, and all this other stuff. But it's like, if people really knew what really goes on in the industry, as far as like being an industry engineer and all this other stuff, YouTube doesn't really showcase what really goes on, because most of the people are making content for people that want to be rappers and mix their own music, or, you know what I'm saying, musicians and stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not like a lot of people that just want to be engineers. Like, I know people that are strictly engineers. They do not write, they do not rap, they have never recorded themselves ever. All they do is record and mix other people, mix for other people. You know what I'm saying? Like, those are the people that people in the industry bring under their wing. You know what I'm saying? And try to teach them the game, try to get them better at mixing. They really not pulling in artists, because artists are just there to waste their time, because it's just like, as soon as they teach something, they learn something, they're just gonna go record a song, mix the song, and just stick with that one thing and think that is everything how it's supposed to go, whatever. That's why a lot of people don't bring artists, engineers underneath their wing. It's not nothing wrong with being an artist engineer, but it's like, if you're gonna be an artist and the engineer, you have to get the engineering part down, and you have to understand. You know, that's what it goes back to. It's like, listen to me closely. If you're just not starting or been doing music for a couple years, start listening to understand versus just listening to respond to people. All right, but listen, those are some things that I wish I would have knew or had somebody talk to me about before I even got into this music world. You know, but listen, make sure you like, comment, subscribe to the channel. It's your boy Sky Jordxn. I'm out of here, and let me know some of the things you wish you would have knew in the comment section below. All right, cool.